Hi everyone, my name is Gabby, and today I want to talk to you guys about the ego. The ego is a third dimensional tool that our human body uses for an identity and for protection. As we move forward into the fifth dimension, some say that we should get rid of it, and some say that we should tame it, and some say that we should just love it. Do you think we should love our ego? Do you think we should get rid of our ego? What do you think? Ego causes a lot of trouble. So what exactly is our ego? And what should we do with it? Why do we have an ego? Why? The ego's job is to, or should I say, protect our third dimensional self. You know, this solid mass meat sack that I'm walking around in. And it's to keep us from knowing who we are in this veiled experience of third dimensional incarnation. It's been termed the lower self, compared to aspects of our oversoul that exist in higher dimensions. As multidimensional selves, when we came into this body, we knew that we would forget who we were as a part of the experience of lower dimensional existence. So we came in with amnesia. We came in not remembering who we really are, not were, are. So the ego is, it's not who you really are, okay? It's like a firewall or a costume or kind of like a mask. It's a cover-up. It's your self-image, and it's not even the image that others may see. I personally think, me personally, I think that the ego is a form of art. It's like a Picasso. You know, when somebody looks at Picasso or when somebody looks at art, we all see something different. We do not see the same thing. And how can we transcend it? It's a mask of approval. It wants to be in control. And it's driven by fear. It needs to be recognized. It is partially responsible for not allowing you to love yourself 100% because it hides who you are. The ego is selfish. Identifying why we have this lower self and the aspects of it is essential in this awakening process of ascension. Removing this veil sheds more light upon areas of ourselves that need healing. That makes us vulnerable. Remember, ego is driven by fear. So in order to get to the core of the self, we have to begin peeling the layers of the mask to reveal what lies beneath. Kind of like an onion, peeling the layers of an onion. We need to face our fears. When you start to awaken and you peel the layers back, you will be faced with your shadow self. A shadow self is a part of the alter ego. And facing it is called going through the dark night of the soul. Now, I've done a few videos on the dark night of the soul explaining it and what some of the side effects and symptoms are. And I will post the link in the bottom here so you guys can refer to it and go watch it after you watch this video. Part of the ego's job is to allow other parts of your soul to come forward to be healed in this reality, because we cannot take this part with us into the higher dimensions due to the law of vibrational attainment. The goal is to heal all of our lower energies and become whole again in a higher vibrational shadow self. Can be a frightening experience and is probably the number one fear of an individual. I know it was for me for a while until I started to understand it. I had a lot of fears. You gotta face your fears. When you are ready, you can try this meditation that I really like. Actually, I did it last night and I had a really awesome meditation last night. And it's called the Third Eye Mirror Meditation. You could go to YouTube and you can search Third Eye Meditation or guided Third Eye Meditation and just look for the one that resonates with you and watch it. And if it resonates, continue to watch it and enjoy the experience. It is a good way to see the different multidimensional aspects of yourself. Just by acknowledging that they are your aspects, that they are a part of you, but intending that they be healed and integrated into your heart space, light is shed on the shadows and a new way of being can finally be achieved once you face your fears. A new you will start to appear. Our subconscious mind is connected to Source, God, Source, the Creator. Our conscious mind is connected to ego. For example, if a person has a life-threatening illness, the ego may be in fear of dying, whereas the subconscious mind or higher self knows that there is no real death of the energy that is your soul. Awakening to who we really are. As we planned before we came into this world, we planned that at some specific trigger point in our life, we would begin to awaken to the fact that we are, in fact, multidimensional souls having a physical human experience. When we realize that there is a higher aspect of us that we are tethered to, the ego begins to fear that it will lose its identity. Part of the ascension up the spiritual ladder is to lose the ego and expand your consciousness to focus on higher aspects. Now, eventually, as we strengthen this connection with our higher self and our oversoul, we will not need the ego's identity or the third dimensional experience anymore. However, to completely lose it would defeat the purpose of living in physicality right now. Okay, so eventually, as we strengthen this connection with our higher selves and our oversoul, we will not need the ego's identity or the third dimensional experience anymore. No more. All gone. Bye-bye. However, to completely lose it would defeat the purpose of living in physicality right now. Instead, we can work with the ego to help it lessen its hold on the veil that shelters the truth from us as we continue to move towards being able to handle the truth. How to work with the ego. Now, this is important because you want to work with it. You don't really want to lose it. In order to lose, which you don't really want to do, the ego, it's important to first recognize that it is or was a very necessary component of our spiritual awakening process. Having an identity other than what we really are sparked a deep withdrawal into needing something more in order to fulfill ourselves. This led to trying to fulfill ourselves with many things over and over until we realized that there was nothing that would actually fulfill us but love for ourselves. At this point, we owe our ego like a huge, big props for getting us to the breaking point. So if it wasn't for the ego, we wouldn't be where we are in our ascension process today. So helping us search for answers outside of ourselves was, the ego. The ego helped us search for answers outside of ourselves. It pushed us out there. So it's gratitude is necessary in order to release the ego of its job that it was created for. So in order to work with the ego in releasing it of its duty, thank your ego out loud for the stellar job it did of providing identity during the veiled aspect of your consciousness in the third density expression. Let it know that now you wish to explore the higher aspects of yourself and that you need to work together to allow this to come forth in your reality, even if that means it will need to eventually step aside in order to let your higher self take the wheel. So that leads us to becoming aware of programming. Part of the taming of the ego involves reversing the programming that we have received as a part of societal living. So if the ego is the lower aspect, the computer, then programming is the software. It is time to uninstall the software, baby. That keeps us in the illusional lower vibrational reality. Here are a few programs that can be reversed with awareness. Stop being offended. That's number one. Do not take anything personally. What others say or do is a projection of their own reality through their own false self. Blame it on their ego. It's their ego's fault. Don't blame it on them. It's their ego's fault. Often people consciously say the opposite of what their subconscious is thinking. Our subconscious follows the golden rule, and as we let more of our subconscious or higher self in our reality, we begin to refrain from saying things to others that may offend them. Number 2. Let go of the need to win. Although games and challenges can sometimes have a positive influence on our advancement, we are in the process of letting go of the third dimensional games as we move towards a higher way of living where there is no competition. None at all. So, bye-bye to competition. Number 3, let go of the need to be right. One person's right is not necessarily another person's right. As we all see things differently, when you let go of the need to prove that you are right, you reduce the opportunity for friction and argument. This is not meant to become passive or to stop standing up for your truth. Rather, it is better to walk away from the lower vibrational situations and instead focus on keeping your vibrations up by standing in the truth by example. Choosing your battles wisely. This time around is the key to advancement. So choose your battles wisely. Number 4, let go of the need to be superior. We are all a spark of the one creator, of source, having an individual experience. While some are on a faster track to enlightenment than others. So we should not judge those who take a different path, as all paths converge to one. In the higher dimensions, we still retain our individuality, but we know that we are all swimming in the sea of love that makes up the whole. The mass collective, the whole, the one. We are one. I am you, you are me. We're just different aspects of each other. So superiority is often confused with having knowledge or experience, and is one of the things that cause the patterns of failing civilizations over time. The next thing, let go of the need to have more. Ego-driven materialism is the downfall of humanity. and is fueled by those who wish to keep us in debt as slaves to an economic system. Once you realize that these things do not fulfill the black hole within, you begin to let the need for them to fall away. A balance of having things that are necessary for comfort while losing the obsession or emotional attainment or attachment to them is the higher path, is the best way to go. By getting rid of the unnecessary clutter in your life, you make space within yourself for expansion. Kind of like the feng shui. Declutter your house, declutter your mind. Let go of identifying yourself by your achievements. Many people fear that looking within themselves, they will find out who they really are, apart from their job titles or family statuses. This leads to crises in life when it comes time for retirement or when the kids go off to college. There is no college degree or job title, social status, or award that will serve you in the ascension process. So God bless the being that is the Jack or Jill of all trades and master of none. Let go. That's the next one. Let go. Let go of your reputation. What other people think of you is none of your business. Nope, none of your business. Some people get so obsessed with how they are seen by others that they lose themselves in false identities. It becomes a chore to try to remember who they are with one person or another. So be you, be yourself. Being true is the best way to be. Be authentic. Authentic self is the best way to show love for yourself. Some people have much that they could share with others about their awakening process or extraterrestrial contact, but their ego will not allow them to share for fear of ruining their reputation or, being called crazy or psycho or weird. I guess that's part of your reputation, right? But who cares? Sharing is caring. Some people need more ego than others. Determining how much ego that you wish to allow to shape your identity is still a personal choice. For example, there are great spiritual teachers that speak in front of thousands of people that need to have some ego in order to give themselves the self-confidence needed to be in the public eye, to stand in front of all those people to speak. Musicians and dancers, artists, singers need some ego to be able to perform time and time again in front of all those people. This is why it is better to work with the ego rather than to tell it to just go away and to get rid of it. And each day may require more or less ego than the next. Getting to know yourself involves getting to know all the lower and higher aspects of yourself. So get to know all of yourself in order to keep yourself anchored in a physical body. Some lower aspects might need to be retained until our bodies take on the light. It is good for the light shadow self to be emerged and be present so that you can transmute any energies that will not pass through the eye of the needle as our cells change from a carbon base to a crystalline base. The gradual process of holistic integration involves awareness and recognition of the tools that our bodies have gifted us with in order to complete our job of the ascension. Our egos can be seen as a tool in the awakening process to use while we are here in the physical, as it presents us with the opportunity to see what we are not. Ultimately, by forgiving ourselves, loving ourselves, and letting go of judgment of ourselves. The ego naturally bows out, and the higher aspect of ourselves naturally shine through. Much love and light to all that's watching, and I thank you. Please like my video. If you did like my video, please share my video. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel because I will be posting up more awesome videos. Thank you very much. Love and light.